on. Okay. All right, so if you have someone next to you who's able to log in, feel free to look at that. I'm also recording this session as well if you need to go back. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do is look at account settings. So this is where you're gonna go to my account, so go to the left side menu and you click on my account, click on this arrow, and it'll take you here. What I want you to do is under settings, go ahead and click on account settings. Okay. So again, this is instruction. We are in, sorry, this is my account. We are in account settings and it will take you to this page. What I would like you to do is go ahead and click on this drop down menu and click on campus instruction.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, can some people need to mute themselves because I cannot hear?
Let me see.
Wade, you're unmuted.
I know I can't unmute. I got it.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm
Sure.
on Sandbox, but
Yes.
I don't have the same left main menu you have. Yours says my account and mine already said account settings. So what I'm seeing is just account security, email, password, and time-based two-factor authentication. I don't have the account setting preference you have with student display or pass-fail coloring.
Let me see if it's under this old look.
Thank you.
Let me just see. Let me just verify. Is this what you're seeing on the left? The account settings, that's what you're saying? Because if you're seeing this, the reason for that is because you have to go up here and you have to go to the new look. And then it'll look like this. How's that? Did I help out? Yes,
I have a question.
sure.
So
Mute it.
we should be in Sandbox right now, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. So the first thing I want to do is set up our account setting. So again, if you don't see my account. it's
One thing,
almost-
Beverly, before, one
Sorry.
thing real quick before you move on, because I've noticed a couple of them.
Uh-huh.
If you are an RSP teacher by chance or a counselor,
Mhm.
your access is different than the rest of the teachers as you don't necessarily have students rostered to you. So this is going to be more towards classroom-based teachers that are sitting there and they're taking daily attendance, they're entering grades and all of that. So if you're noticing that you don't have that instruction, that's because you don't have that teacher role of where you're going to be taking attendance on the daily basis.
Mhm. Thanks, Lauren. So yes, this is the teacher account, just to clarify. Okay, so. Okay. So what you do is we're going to look at our settings first. So for teachers out there, if you go to this instruction arrow, you will see that it gives you these topics right here. I'd like you to go under, I'm sorry, we're gonna go to my account. Sorry about that, jumping ahead of myself. You go to my account, you go under settings and click on account settings. Here is how, and then making sure that you go to campus instruction in the drop-down menu. So this will show you how you want your students to display. So you can show just active students, student numbers, if you want their picture showing. If you're planning on using your seating chart to take attendance, make sure you click on that. Because if this isn't clicked, you won't be able to do that even though you make a seating chart. You can say, I want to see a picture, number. So whatever settings you have here, you're gonna need to save it. And then under this pass fail, again, this is for gradebook. That's later. That really doesn't apply to what we're doing right now. So if we just want to focus on the student display settings, that's fine. But again, if you want to use a seating chart for attendance, then you're going to have to click this and just make sure that you save. The main thing is always save every time you do any kind of change. Okay. Any questions on account settings and what you want to see?
Really quick, what was the difference between the two settings you had when in the drop-down menu, campus tools and campus instruction?
So this tools one, I again, Lauren, do you know what this tools one was for? I just know that we had to go instruction. for
It's
this
okay if it's
one.
not relevant. It's fine.
Yeah, I think-
I'm sorry, I was neck deep in getting some issues resolved. What was the
Yeah.
question?
yeah. So that's a good question and we'll look into that for you. But right now, they didn't really go over that when we went training for this. So they just went over, they just told us to go to drop them.
Oh, what the campus tools is?
Yeah, what is the campus tools, Lauren?
I'll have to look into it because like she said, I've never actually
Yeah.
looked into that. So
Right.
I can find out for you guys.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's fine. If it's not relevant, it just, since we're using settings and changing the way we see kids. I
No,
kinda
that's a good
figured it's
question, you know?
relevant.
All right, so just making sure everybody's on campus instruction.
I have a quick question before we move
Sure.
on. Do we set those up based on what we think we need, or should we follow your screen?
It's based on what you think you need. Most likely you'd probably want to see pictures, if you want to see pictures in there. If you're the type of person who likes to have your seating chart for attendance, you can do that as well. But just know that in order for you to take attendance with the seating chart, you have to have this clicked. So it's just basically how you would want to see what you'd like to see on your dashboard. What would be easier for you. Most likely, I always liked it when I was teaching. I like to see student pictures, especially when it came to subs. So like if you ever were to have to print out like a seating chart or whatnot, it always helped with pictures. Because you know our kids, they like to switch places every so often, you know, so so those are the things we can look at.
I have a really quick question on this.
Sure.
If we're doing this in Sandbox, do we then need to remember to do it again once we go back into our Infinite campus too?
Yes, this is like a playground. This is just a practice.
I
area.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it won't transfer over. This is for us to not be so worried about like, you know, something that we might accidentally do on
Perfect.
the live site. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, so that's settings and just whatever settings you decide to do there, just make sure you save it. Okay, so that's what settings. Next, what area I want to show you was the control center. So if you, so this is going to be for teachers, it's going to be your go-to right here. This contains all of these areas. So if you go to instruction, we're going to look at the control center. I would like you to go daily tasks and then go to control center. Okay, so in this case, we were talking about second grade. So this is how you can take attendance is through here. This is one way to take attendance actually. What I would recommend is because we're moving on to the new look, I guess you can say, I would turn this on. Make sure you enable the new control center just so that it's consistent across the board. So when you get in control center, I would recommend, I would say enable the new control center up here. Okay. So when you're in here, you can actually customize how this looks like. So you would click on, so again, remember, enable new control center look. So you would click on this here. So this is grade 2, 24 students. You would click on this settings menu and you can actually change this. If you don't like all of this, you can just call this grade 2 if you like. And then you also can change the icon that shows. So let me see, let's pick a cool icon. I don't know. Let's say you have a lot, and I'm just gonna choose the football. Say you have a lot of sports oriented students. And then you can even change the color. So I like red, so you can do that. So if you like that color, you like that icon, and it saves, and it looks like that. So you can do this, you could do these settings as you please. So this is in the control center. This is one area you can actually, if you wanted to, take attendance. So if you click here, so red, this means that you didn't take attendance yet. So you would click on that and then you'll notice, oh, your students are going to be on the right. This is one way to take attendance. Present is default. So if, for example, this person's absent, say this person's tardy, you can make comments on the side and type that in. You could say 10 minutes, that this person was late if you want, but just make sure, and say that one's tardy, so on and so forth. And when you save that, you'll notice it turned green. That means that you took attendance. And this is what the office will know. Once the office gets the attendance, you are not able to override any of those items. Okay, so this is one way to take attendance. I'll show you another way to do it as we move through the training. Any questions? Let me pull up chat real quick.
Sorry, to be clear, you said
Sure.
once you select that you've finished with attendance, then it's saved. Because in our previous system, like we could, if we mark someone absent, go back and put them tardy. Now we would need to let the office know that they,
No, you would still have that ability.
okay,
Elementary is a lot different than middle school, so you guys still have a little bit more leeway of a time. However, you might want to check with the front office on what time their automatic attendance messages will go out, because that will happen. They have automatic emails that will go out to parents letting them know that their student was absent. So you'll just want to be cautious of that to make, but in that time too, by the time those calls go out, the student should have probably gone to the office versus coming directly to your class anyways.
Mhm.
right. But we can go back and switch if it, like, sometimes it happens like a minute or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there a lunch count on this?
A lunch count. Do you know if
Yes,
there's a lunch count?
there is, and you guys, I'll double check to make sure that it's on for you.
Okay.
With attendance.
Would it be on this same screen with the attendance?
Because that's how.
I do not recall I've seen a lot of training over the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So once I make sure that it's on, I'll email you guys and let you know, and I'll include a screenshot of where it can be found at.
Thank you.
Any other questions about how to kind of personalize how your classes look like and your icons? That's just the beginning. We're going to get into rosters and seating charts eventually, and there's more to it. All right. Again, let me know if I'm going too fast or if I need to go over again. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Can you
Okay.
actually review how you did that?
How we got to Control Center? Sure. So if you go to, so this is your go-to, you go to instruction, and then if you go to daily tasks and then Control Center, this will pop up. And then again, if you want to change colors and the name of your class, you just click on settings and you can change the name, you can change the icon and the color, and then just make sure to save.
Can't you also just go to attendance if you want to just take attendance on that daily task?
Someone's there. Yes, there is. There are multiple ways of doing attendance on here. This is just one of those ways. Thank you for pointing that out. All right. We're almost there with attendance. So let's just go ahead and go over rosters really quick. So again, this is going to be your go-to instruction. If you go to classroom administration and roster, you will see your entire roster of students. Okay, so what you have here is you can click on the status. You can see all of them. You can see only those that are active, any that are incoming, and also any of that have dropped. If you click all, you'll notice that if they're no longer in your class, it'll be red. Just know that. So if you don't want that and you just want to see the active ones, it'll show up all blue. Again, you can see incoming or dropped as well. In addition to the screen, you can also look at the different flags. Some of them might have flags, important things you need to know about the student. If you click on this, it'll show you about health, and you can print it out if you wanted to. If you click on the student, you can actually look at all their details, contact information, and print that out as well. And then also since these aren't in right now, the IPPLP or RTI files aren't there yet, but I know they're, again, those are confidential and those are probably, those are locked plans. So that's why you don't see them there right now. And then if you wanted to print out the roster, you can go here under report options and you could generate a PDF and it'll have the roster for you and their addresses. Okay,
I have a question.
sure.
At the beginning of the school year, we're always asked to email parents and set up our email list. Is there a way to pull up their email list in a roster like this?
So that's actually when we go to Message Center, you can actually, so like an email, like if you don't have a group list yet and you want to email them ahead of time, yeah, we're gonna go to Message Center and you can send it to like all students, or you could just do specific ones if you don't have their email on file yet.
Perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
usually
I'll
I would
get-
do that on roster. That's why I asked.
Yes.
Yeah, the nice thing is our messaging system is now built back into Infinite Campus. So you guys don't actually have to use your work email to message your families. You can
Mhm.
actually do it directly out of Infinite Campus.
Mhm. Yes.
But just a quick, sorry, just had a quick question. So what if I would like to have a list of parents' emails?
If you want to list up.
Is there a way to do that?
Is that
In
available? at the-
roster, you can go down to in the reports options and you can click Guardian and it will say, it will give them the show Guardian contact information. And that will then come up on your PDF.
This one just shows, because I didn't select it, but you can, yeah.
Also, if you just click the blue student name, it will allow you to see the parents' email addresses and phone numbers too.
Right, but that's one kid at a time. We were looking for the whole list, right? To generate the whole list.
Yeah, that will generate an entire list just by clicking that. And your whole list will have your emails, all the contact information on it.
Can you please repeat that again, how we get to that list?
Sure,
Thank
yeah,
you.
no problem. So to get to the report options, you're saying?
Yes, for the parent contact.
Okay, so I know if you click on report options. So it shows,
Click on the Guardians under
Mhm.
household phone number and address, click Guardians, that box
Mhm.
right above where your cursor was. Right below household phone number, there's a little
oh,
box by
yes, that's right.
Guardians. Now it will come up with that.
And then it will show that. Totally missed that check. And there it is. Thank you. Again, we are all learning this together, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
I just want to say one more time, throw it out there again, for the SLPs, the RSPs, and like the counselors that are on right now. I did not know that you guys were going to be told to come on to this training, or I probably would have suggested something different for you guys. This is going to be not what you see. So if you guys jump off, that's totally understandable. I can look for a time to where we can do a separate Zoom that focuses more on the student side, the campus side, for you guys to actually see how you would be able to look up rosters and to look for your students and whatnot. But this is going to be ultimately useless for you guys because you don't even have the same access as the rest of the teachers. You guys have a different side.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so that's rosters. And again, if you click on a name, you'll have individual information. You can print out the rosters with everything too. Okay, any questions on rosters?
I have a question.
Sure.
In the past, we've been able to have rosters with the kids' Google information for their school's Google account and password. Is that going to be possible this year?
Have those been entered yet? Let's see. Oh, good question. Let me go back to the, let me see if there's a. So, I guess, so how did you send that up? I guess that's something we to find out from,
I don't think they're entered yet, because when you go to the kids' information, you see the parents and then you see the kids, but the kids never have, none of the kids on my roster have their emails input. So that might just not be in there yet.
They do on mine.
Yeah, mine does.
Mine does.
I'm kindergarten, so maybe that's
that's right.
okay.
Probably, yeah. Good questions. Let's see, any other ones? Okay. All right. Okay, so that's rosters, again, has the flags, everything like that. So you guys ready to look at another way to take attendance? I don't even know if my camera shows, it doesn't show on my pen, but can you guys see me? I don't know if you can. Seems like it's something's going on. Maybe I have too many tabs open. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're gonna look at is attendance, another way. So if you again, you go to tab instruction. If you click under daily tasks, attendance, you will see if you click on here, you'll have the attendance list. So another way that you could take attendance. Again, just make sure PAs and it shows like, and then just again, make sure you save. You'll notice that when I click here, nothing shows up. That's because we don't have a seating chart yet. So you can't take attendance without a seating chart, just so you know, okay? So that's actually our next thing. So if you then go to instruction, you go to seating charts. Notice there are none, so you have to create a new one. So for grade 2, we have 24 students, so I'm just gonna do maybe 6 by 4. It's up to you, however your classroom is configured. You can say, do I want half a desk in each one desk? I'm gonna do half because there's 24 students. It's up to you what you wanna do there. And then you can place them in these 4 ways. So this is alphabetically from A to C, alphabetically from Z to A. This is random, and this is do not place. So this is manual. So if you wanna just place them yourself, go ahead and do this. And then you also have to name. So I'm just gonna write, say if you do seating charts every month, I'm gonna call this for August, let's say. Let's say the August seating chart, if you like to change your seating charts every month or less, and then you would just create chart. So what you have here is a seating chart. And all you do is you take the kid's name and you just drag and drop. So notice if it's red, that means you didn't place the kid. It has to be green. So there's Avery, and let's say Avery and Alonzo and Rodolfo won't get along. So you might want to put them here. And then if it gets too tedious and you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to do it randomly right now and see how it goes because I don't know the kids yet. You can always click on place students again, and you could just do it random. And they're all placed. Now, if your students aren't in rows, let's say they're in groups, you can always shift it. You can put these, let's say you have, round tables or groups of 4. Sometimes you might have a group of 6, which sometimes you might have 5. You have it placed like this. So you can always move it around as well. If you're like, oh, I forgot a kid, I forgot to add this kid, I have 1 extra, you can always get a new desk and add that as well. If you have it in, so there's different ways you can move it depending on your layout in your classroom. And the key here is you gotta make sure that you always save. Any questions before I go to the other tabs in this page? Okay. So let's say you're like, oh, I think, next month, I still want to use the same layout. You can just copy the layout and do it again if you want to name a new one. And say, let's do it for September. And then again, if you just want to do alphabetically, but you might know them better, so you might want to say manual and make sure you select the class again, and then you can drag kids again. So on and so forth. So you can actually copy it and then save it if you need to. Now, if you're like, I want to delete, I have too many seating charts. Let me just save this. You could just say, open click on there. Let's say I don't like the September one, then you just open that again and you could just delete it. Okay.
How many seating charts can you create
You
at
know,
one time?
I don't know actually. I just made like maybe 2, 5. I did it for the middle school. For middle school, sometimes they have 5 different ones, so I haven't done more than that. But I'm sure you could do a lot. You can even so yes, I don't know what the maximum number is. I have only done up to 5 so far, but we can look into that too. So see what happens if I don't click on it, it would give me an error. So here it is. And then if you end up having a lot of kids, you can actually expand workspace or contract depending on how many kids, if you need to add more desks or whatnot. So you could click on these and it just makes the screen bigger. You can't really tell on my screen, but it actually just makes the workspace bigger. Okay. So now you're probably wondering, okay, how am I going to take attendance using the seating chart? So you can just go in. So now that I have seating charts made, at least one, you can go here to attendance. I didn't save the second one, that's okay. And then there's your seating chart. So the only reason why this showed up is because remember in the account settings, I made sure I click on seating chart for attendance. And if you don't like this way, then you can always do list and you're back to the list. Seating chart, attendance, same thing, present, absent, tardy, and then you go from there. Questions on seating charts and attendance? This group knows what they're doing, I'll tell you that. All right. And then, so we went over attendance, we went over seating charts. Now let's go into grades. So I know that all of you keep your own grade book. This is like how you would post grades during report card time. So you would go under instruction again, and you'd click on post grades. So here, there's various ways you could do this. So just make sure you know the term, section, and just so you know, this you'd only be able to enter stuff during the grading window. Just so you know, the grading period window. So there's different ways you can do this. You can post grades by all standards and tasks. I don't know if you want to do it that way. But basically for each, let me wait till it loads. You could, for every kid, you could have all the standards. That's one way to do it. Or you have the standards and grading task. And again, for every kid, you do it per your whole class. So you would enter your percent or grade and comments. Now, if you want to do it by students, since you're measuring multiple standards, then you would go here. And this is for students. So this is for Avery. And you can enter the grades. And then also slash if you didn't assess during that trimester. Questions on post grades?
I just put in a question on the chat.
Okay.
Is there a grade book option? So then that way these grades transfer over?
Yeah, so I actually just responded to you. So yes, there is a grade book option in here, just like Illuminate. However, since it's not mandatory necessarily for you guys to use it, and we were throwing a new system at you right before school starts, the last thing we wanted to do was also throw grade books at all of you and potentially freak and panic all of you. However, that is an option. And if you guys wish, drop me an email and I can send you the link on how to take the online course to set it up. So if you wish to get going, we highly encourage it. Hopefully we can get more of you guys using it. So just send me an email and I can send you the link on the online course so you can go ahead and get those set up.
Jody, you just answered my next question. The next thing I wanted to show. So if you want to do a fill, you could do it. So let me go back, not per student, go back to the chat windows in there. All right, so if you go back to standards and grading tasks, actually you're the first group who asked this, you can actually do a a fill. You could say if you want to put a percentage or if you want to do a grade, and then you could say all students as well. And then if you, so for example, you would use empty if there's a group of students that have different grades than everybody else, so you would select that for your fill. Did I answer your question? No, they're not in percent. Oh, you're welcome. So you can actually enter, there's a 4, 3, 2, 1 and the slash. Other questions? You're welcome. All right. Again, if you stop me, if you need me to go over anything else, I don't mind. You guys are actually moving along quite quickly. All right, so then let's go ahead and look at the next piece, which is, oh, so the report cards are going to be entered this way. You just won't, you don't have to use the gradebook now, but the report cards are going to be entered this way. Correct, Lauren? This is the way they're going to do report cards now?
Sorry, I was
Sorry.
resolving another.
I know, she's like doing 10 million things.
I'm trying to multitask.
Too. She is like everything.
Yeah,
But
so
this
you'll
is
be
how they do
entering in your
report cards.
final, you'll just be entering your final marks directly into Infinite Campus.
Yes.
Just like you guys were doing for Illuminate. So you'll put them in and then report cards will be pushed out via the parent portal, all of that stuff. So it'll just be final marks that need to go in there.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Lauren. Okay. Other questions? I'm checking the chat right now.
I have a question. This is Jody Stein. So if we have multiple, so in elementary school, we have different rosters. So will we have, how can we get access to different rosters? So I don't just have one roster. I have 3 groups of kids that I work with. So how can we get access to those other rosters?
How are you guys like teaching as a team?
Yes, we're in the Mandarin program. So
Oh
it's
yeah, so you guys,
50-50.
same thing in Illuminate.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll still be the same. So like you'll still be set up as team teachers. So you guys, you have the 20, like your primary on 25, just like before. Yeah.
Okay, so there's
And
a
I
3-way.
think I think you guys are already set up. I'll have to double check, but I know I'm still waiting on a couple confirmation up at the higher grades. So yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, Lauren.
But
Thank you. Thank you. Other questions?
Are you going to go over the email situation?
Yes, I am. That is next, actually. So if we're good for Postgrades, I'm going to go into email. Oh, message center. So again, you go under instruction and you go under daily tasks and you go to message center. So this is, we would create a new one. And then most likely because grade books aren't live yet, I mean, it's an option right now. Most likely, most of you will use class message. If you do use grade books, you actually have an option of doing a grades message for your whole class where there's fields that fill out automatically or a missing assignment one. But for right now, the class message is like this. This will be for the user, and then you can even set up templates if you want. Now, in terms of delivery, if you click on inbox, this just goes to the student or the parent's portal account. If you click it with the email, this message will also go to their email. But of course, with those parents who do not have emails, they just get it in their portal. And then you can select the date for it to be delivered, the time you want it to go out, and then your reply to email. You have your message body, and then give me a second, start the test. Then you would just click next, and they'll say, oh no, you didn't put your email. So you put your email there, you'd put the subject. I don't really want to send a message, but if you go to next and stuff, it'll just preview. So I don't really want to send it all the way out. But if you just make sure you put your email there and then you just go next, it'll just go to like preview and you get to see what messages are sent out and then it will go from there.
Do you need to then access your email through Infinite Campus and it won't go to your Gmail account?
As far as I know, we have to look it out. Did they say that? I don't remember when we were being trained, they mentioned anything about that. I just know that. Let me look into that more and send that information to you, but.
And what does the reply to email box do? All it does is just like highlight in blue on mine. What's it for?
Yeah, it's not letting me do that either. Let me see what happens. See it. It won't let me enter my email too. I don't know what's wrong on my end here. We gotta look into more of this, but we find out because I can't enter mine either, probably because, let's see. Weird. We'll get back to you on that one. I can't enter it right now. I can't enter anybody's email right now. Lauren, do you know why I can't let me do the email here? I don't know why.
Not letting them fill out an email at all?
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Or
type
just the
in.
reply to email?
Yeah.
It might be a settings thing, so I'll look
Yeah.
into it, but it should be set up to where you can put in your email if you want them to reply back to you guys. So I'll look into that.
Yeah, I can't type mine in. Look at it. Okay. So this is where you would send that message. Okay. All right. So again, I wish I know that, and then if you go next, it'll like show you who are you sending it to? Do you want all recipients or specific ones? And then you get to preview it and then you can send it out. All right, so that's where you can email, especially if you don't have emails of your parents and guardians yet. But we'll look into the setting for the reply to email. Any questions on Message Center? And the last section is reporting. So there's these different reports. I think some of the ones that might be of interest to you would be the attendance register or attendance summary. So if we look at attendance summary, what this does is it lists all the students and then your students and their absences. And then if you click on attendance register, you generate PDF. Don't mind the red over here, but the register shows like the days that they were absent. You might be interested in those reports as well. All right, so again, those are our reports. Again, that can be found under instruction reports and attendance register report. So these are the reports you can choose from. You can print out report cards, rosters, labels, so on and so forth. Grade book for when you do grade book. So there's things you can play with. All right, and for those of you who want to kind of learn more about gradebook and so on and so forth, you can, and other aspects that we didn't, that you want to kind of delve deeper into, you can click on Campus Passport and there's courses where you can learn the different areas. There are 22 lessons, so I don't know if Lauren already has, but I will drop this in the chat box if you are interested in taking some of the lessons.
Also, I wanted to speak to the question in regards to Google email and passwords. So as you can see, you will be able to see the student's email. However, we will not be inputting the iPad passcodes or the Google email passwords into the system. That's actually a very, very big security issue that if someone gets in there, they would have full access to that. However, over the summer, technology has built out a database for that, and they are working on getting that out to you guys. So you will still have that information, but it will be in a secured, protected database.
Okay. And yes, I will send that out to all of you. I will work to do that. But again, there's courses there, lessons you can take, and other things you want. So do I have any other questions? I know we still have about 3 minutes left. Any questions out there?
I was curious if there was another way to look up their medical information. because under allergies, if you click, it's not very specific.
Mm,
It says allergy, serious, and then rather than giving you a specific food, it just says food.
so like here, it just,
Yeah, you click on it, it should give you more information. So that might come down to how it was inputted on the health page.
mhm.
Where would you click to get it to come up?
You click the little flag and that little pop-up would come up. So it all comes down to, so if that's all that shows up for allergies, it's however the office staff entered the allergy in the actual system.
Okay, so if they entered it as food, then I'd have to go and,
Yes, they should ultimately, they shouldn't just put food, they should ultimately kind of put in a specific.
okay, maybe
Yeah,
they'll
so
be,
you'll just want to follow up with them on that. So yeah, you just need to click that health icon. Asthma, go, all the ones you're gonna click, all you're gonna all have asthma on them. But yeah, it's, they're like, so let's see.
I'm just clicking on all the conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, glasses, medication.
Yeah, so if it just says food or something like that, and it's not specific enough, just go ahead and contact your health clerk and let them know and see if they can put in a little bit more information for you. Because they ultimately should. It shouldn't just say food, because that's obviously could be anything. So just contact the office.
okay, sounds good.
So yeah, just to recap, pretty much everything you have that you're gonna need, all your daily tasks are here. Anything with classroom administration and reports can be found under instruction. And basically all these ones underneath kind of fall under this. It has some extra categories, but overall, if you go to instruction, you'll be able to access everything you need. So any other questions? We have 1 minute left. Well,
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem.
To be clear, the sandbox is just like where we practice, and the other link is where we're actually, so once we figure it out, we can kind of ignore sandbox.
Yes, we just want you to be able to practice without being worried about clicking on anything before, going to the live site before. So yes, after you get the hang of Sandbox, you can go to the live site. Yes.
I have a quick,
Andrea.
yes.
Andrea.
Will we be receiving any other follow-up training like before report card time? I feel like I'm a little bit still unclear just for report cards. Is there anything planned for later?
What we could do, we could talk to our ed services team and we can look how we can do that for you. Because I know it's brand new, so we can do it together. If we'll let you know if there is.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Love all the questions, everyone. Okay, so it is 3:00 on the mark. Lauren and I will stay back, but other than that, if you don't have any other questions, feel free to log out and you can always reach us at the Ed Services office. Mine's extension 2648. So if you have any other questions, if you need a little mini tutorial, we'll be happy to do that. So we'll stay here for a few more minutes, but other than that, thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate your time today, and good luck the next couple of days. I know we're really excited to see our kids, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So thank you so much, and again, Laura and I will hang out for a few more minutes after if you'd like to ask us other questions. And we will send the video out.
This is Eucalyptus Hills. Lauren, I sent you an email, but none of us are.
I got it. I fixed it.
Oh, you
fixed
did?
it. Yeah. So your names got inputted on the wrong spot. They weren't actually